Good morning, I'm Isaiah Gonzalez.
And I'm Luis Marin.
Welcome to Channel 4 News. Today we are bringing you the Iran news for Wednesday, January 8, 2020. Luis, what do we know?
The U.S. believes the first strikes were between 20 and 24 ballistic missiles launched by Iran on Tuesday, January 7, 2020, at two military facilities in Iraq that house U.S. troops, says by U.S. officials.
The bases being fired at were Al-Assad Air Base in West Iraq and Erbil in North Iraq. The U.S. Pentagon states U.S. troops were in bunkers at the time of attack. 15 of the missiles fired had hit their targets at Al-Assad and one hitting near Erbil.
In addition to these airstrikes, on Wednesday, Iran fired 16 more ballistic at Al-Assad Air Base and Erbil. 11 of those missiles had hit their target at Al-Assad and one hit Erbil. 4 missiles had failed during this second attempt airstrike to kill U.S. troops.
The U.S. Pentagon states there were no casualties, no American, Iraqi, or coalition forces were killed during these attacks. Word had gotten out from Iran to U.S., so the United States were warned before these attacks and had time to react forcibly by going underground in bunkers for shelter from the missiles. After the attacks following the Iranian missiles, Monday the Pentagon states dozens more United service members have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries, bringing the total to 109.
Iran has launched ballistic missiles at U.S. bases, causing mass damage to 2 military facilities and brain damage to many service members. Today, we are bringing you our daily news update on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020.
These strikes was for retaliation of the U.S. killing of Iran's highest-ranking general, Qasem Soleimani. President Donald Trump authorized the airstrike that killed Qasem Soleimani. General Qasem Soleimani was a top Iranian general who is considered the most revered military leaders in the Islamic Republic. The U.S. had to take action to protect U.S. personnel by killing the general. Following the airstrike that killed General Khilustami, Iran's foreign minister tweeted, "The U.S. locals responsibility for all consequences of its rogue adventurism." This meaning that the U.S. has something coming their way.
So I'm here with President Trump. What's your opinion on the missiles and the attacks?
The attacks are huge, and I mean huge. Iran has made a miserable mistake attacking the U.S. once again. We, at the U.S., are going to go and grab Iran by the... My press person says I can't say that, but Iran is in for some major hurting.
You think this is going to gain you supporters or make you lose supporters?
I am America's leader right now, and I will get them through these hard times. America loves their president, Donald Trump, me, because I'm amazing.
So what are you going to do in response?
America is going to pull forth together and just make it huge on the Iranian people that this has been a huge mistake.
What if we respond and there's death to American soldiers? How do you think that's going to make you look?
American soldiers will not die. We are the best trained, the strongest military in the world, and we have a huge, huge ground force.
Do you got a plan on how you're going to attack?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have troops go in. If that doesn't work, we're going to nuke them. We're going to just send huge, and I mean huge bombs their way.
Interesting. So what you're saying is you're just going to bomb them like we did the Japs.
That's a little racist, but yeah, yes, Japan thought they had it rough to just wait for Iran.
What about all your supporters? Are they with you with this?
My Trump supporters, people love President Trump. Trump is amazing. Trump is just the best Trump is just an amazing and best support of the American people ever. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, they're tiny compared to huge Trump.
So what about the Iranians? You think they're going to attack after we attack, and it's going to be a long-going process?
All I know is Iran has attacked America a lot. It's been a huge amount, okay? And what the Iranian people don't know is how proud and nationalistic the American people are.
You think it's going to be a long, ongoing conflict? conflict like Afghanistan?
We will make this as short as possible. I'm telling the American people right now that we won't be there as long because we'll just send nukes if necessary.
But that's what we thought about Afghanistan. We're still there. It's the longest conflict we've had since Vietnam.
Well, Afghanistan, we're there for a different reason. We didn't just go there for Osama. We want the oil. I'm telling you, they have huge amounts of oil.
Thank you for coming back to Channel 4 News. I'm Shiloh Anaya, and I'm reporting on the death of General Soleimani from last week. He was killed in an Iranian missile strike by the U.S. I am now speaking to his friend and getting his thoughts on it. So who was General Soleimani to you?
General Soleimani to me was a great general. He helped out around the community. Not everything on the media was true about what you guys said about him.
Okay. How do you feel about the death of Soleimani? How has it affected you personally?
Me personally, he was like a brother to me. So, we take this as a real big loss around the community.
How do you feel towards the U.S. for the attacks that just happened?
I feel sorry for you guys because the retaliation's not gonna be so great.
And do you think that the retaliation from you guys will cause a bigger spark to the U.S. to attack you again?
It'll definitely cause some type of war, but that's what you guys get.
Okay. And the last question I have to ask you is, why do you care so much about this general?
Because he was ruling for a long time and he helped out around the community, like I said before.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much for coming to Channel 4 News for this interview. We're going to bring you back to the main studio. Thank you for showing back up to Channel 4 News. I'm Shiloh Anaya, and I'm here with a special guest, and I'm going to be interviewing him about the death of Soleimani. So how do you feel about the death of Soleimani, and how do you think it affects the American people?
I mean, it is very possible that it could affect us in a war-like state. You know, it could possibly raise conflicts with Iran, and you never know, man.
All right. And how do you think this will affect Trump's presidency?
Now you see, a lot of people already don't support him as a president. It possibly could just raise more conflict in his presidency. You know, people could possibly think it's terrible for America that we're starting these conflicts and killing generals and all that. It's like if Iran were to kill one of our generals, you know, it'd cause conflict with us.
Okay. And do you think the U.S. had a right to kill the general, even though he wasn't on his own territory?
I mean, I think so. It's, you know, they did something to us, we gotta do something to them. You know, we're not just gonna take it.
Well, thank you very much. Back to the studio. Thank you for showing back up to Channel 4 News. I'm here now with a special guest. So, what is your position on the bombing of Soleimani in Iran?
Well, I'm gonna be quite honest. I think it was a good thing that we did.
All right. And what was your perspective on the U.S. just killing him outside of their own territory? Did you think they had a right to do that?
I think it was a part of national security, so yes.
All right. And
Hey, can we hurry up this interview? My legs are getting numb. Falling asleep over here.
well, sure. Last question I have for you is, do you think that Iran will retaliate against the U.S.?
If they were smart, no. But knowing them, they might. But if they did their math and all their studying, we outnumber them in everything.
Well, thank you very much. Back to the studio.